Testing, testing. Hi guys. So, I decided to try something different. Usually I would just do voiceover on a recording device. You know, I thought I could probably do an hour and live stream on YouTube, see what happens. Maybe it'll be more fun, because I always do it just via recording app, so maybe, you know, I can have some fun reading comments while I paint for the first 1 hour. So obviously I can't really draw anything other than a portrait or like basically the headshot or the characters fully clothed, because YouTube is even more strict than Twitter and all the other social media. So we're going to be working on, oh my gosh, I don't want to pronounce her name wrong, but YaeMiko Yes, so I'm just gonna be drawing her portrait basically. And once she's released, then I can draw something a bit more elaborate. So yeah, for now we'll just keep it simple. Okay, so let's start with a sketch. So usually I don't record this part, but first, I gotta visualize, kind of see what kind of composition I want to go for. But usually the sketch is pretty much there as a guide. It's not really, doesn't really go into the final piece. I'm trying to think like how I want to do this. Do I want to do like more of an anime style or more as a semi-realistic style, which I've been doing recently. So this is actually my first time live streaming on YouTube, so it's a little new for me, so apologize if it's kind of weird, because I've seen other people live stream on YouTube and this is a little bit unprofessional, I would say. But the point of it is just to see let's see what happens. So she's got a lot of details on her arm. I'm just going to play around with the positioning of the character and stuff. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't lag too much. Oh gosh, sorry guys, okay. Let me have a look at the chats. So, the video, I'm not sure if I will keep it up, but most likely. Let's see. Is the progress you've made equal to patron guides? Yeah, this is basically what I do, and it's not exactly guides, I just narrate what I do and give some tips while I do it. I'll be doing like 1/3 of the process on YouTube and the rest of it will be available on Patreon. Well, you don't have to wish to be able to draw like me, you can get there through hard work and practice. I think pretty much anybody can if they make a plan out of it and go for it. I think I was there one day. I mean, I was in your place as well when I first just started. You know, I see other artists painting and I was like, oh, so cool. You know, I watch mostly anime and I was like, oh, I really want to draw Sailor Moon. So I just started. Obviously, it wasn't that great, but you know, I kept trying. throughout the years. Okay, maybe, I don't know. I'll be honest, the streaming is pretty distracting. Usually I'd probably be able to focus a bit more, but streaming while painting is pretty distracting. Okay, maybe I'll just have her arm like here. This is like one of my go-to poses. Yes, I use the same pose. It's okay though, because the end result is what matters. You know, we can have the same pose for several characters, but if we put them in different lighting and angles, all it matters is the end result. We need to get the right mood for the character. So after I do the sketch, this is basically what I do. And you'll see this as well in my older process. Basically, I'm just blocking in the character. How do I keep being inspired to draw every day? Well, it's pretty hard, but I mean, if I see a really cool movie or play a really cool game that's pretty inspirational, I usually get inspired by that. Also the pressure to kind of put out better work because, you know, that's what people expect of me. Yeah, artists don't want to admit this, but it is what it is. It's kind of like a full-time job for me too, so yeah, I can't just I have to do whatever I can to stay inspired, because I need to put out good work, and I try to be as creative as I can. Whoops. Let's go ahead and name this face. So next, it helps to name the layers. The hair, usually I also have it on a separate layer, because sometimes, especially with more stylized characters, we don't always get the hair always on the first try. Sometimes it requires a lot of editing for the hair. So hair on a separate layer is always a good idea. And I even take it a step further. I basically have put the back hair in a separate layer. That way it's even more flexible when you want to edit stuff, and then have the hair ornaments on the third layer. I'm just gonna roughly use the lasso tool to roughly shape it out, not super clean on this either, and always helps to have the reference right next to you, so it's just right there. Sometimes, I mean, you know, some artists, me included, I have a secondary screen. Having the reference there is good, but sometimes just turning your head is just too much work. So alright, so I got the general shape for the character pretty much blocked in. One more thing, I need to do the hand. Same thing, shape. Just gonna go ahead and carve out the shape. You should take a break from drawing if you're feeling worn out. Yeah, I do, but sometimes when I take too much of a break, I feel myself slipping, like I need to get back into it, because it's kind of like a feeling you get, at least for me. If I start taking too much of a break, then I kind of get a bit lazier. So I try not to slip into that. Even now I feel like it, I took a bit of break this month and it was good until I was like, oh no, I'm procrastinating now. Now I have to get back into it. But that's just me knowing how I am. Let's see. And a background layer. This is the character group, background group, and steps group. Steps, I usually include this. Background. And the reference right on top. Alright, hopefully I can achieve what I hope. But yes, after I blocking everything, usually I would have a background. And the background is basically like a bunch of photo stocks that I put together. I rarely paint the background because I have a specific idea in mind for the background, and it's gonna take a long time if I paint it manually. So usually stick with a photo background and paint over that. That will be a lot faster usually. So she's gonna be pinkish in theme, so I mean blue and pink or turquoise and pink is usually a good match. That's like my favorite color combo, so we'll go with that. But the background will probably be something different after. I'll most likely find some photo reference for that. Or not reference, photos, photo stock. Alrighty. I'm just looking at the time. I think I will probably stop the streaming at around 5:40 or 6 and finish it tonight. And yeah. So I'm gonna start off by just roughly blocking out sort of like her clothing, skin tone and stuff like that. And that's the best thing about having the reference right there. You can just pick up the color and kind of just use it. I'll have to block in the layer or it's gonna be colored outside. Oh gosh. Sorry guys, I'm really not paying attention to the chat too much. Let's go back. I want to try painting like you in Procreate. I'm not super familiar with Procreate. But I think it's doable. I've seen some really amazing piece of art drawn by other artists. But I think I tried it once. It's definitely a little harder to get used to because it is on a iPad or a tablet device instead of a computer/antique. Let's go ahead and paint all that. Ooh, awesome! I got my first super chat. That's awesome. Thank you. Oh, there's some, other commenting. I'm not sure this language? I'm not sure. I'm sorry, I can't read it. But as for the super chat, thank you. Thanks Doom at Dusk for the first. Oh wow, you like my Tatsumaki piece? Thank you. That took quite a bit to paint actually. It was a tricky angle. I hope to be at your level drawing one day. Yes, I think it's definitely possible. With the right practice and proper referencing as well. You guys are so distracting. Alright, let me get back to it. So I'm just trying to read all the comments. Let me see if I can. This will probably be on YouTube later. Yes. Do you go to your reference picture layer to get the color? You don't. You actually don't even need to switch layers. You just use the eyedrop tool and pick the color like that. But yes, reference picture is pretty good for color if you're in need of inspiration or just trying to get a new color palette and stuff like that. Alright, so man, I have to say, this is a little distracting. Yes, the live streaming is still kind of distracting. I'm usually a little faster than this. Okay, let's speed things up here. I'm just gonna do a bit of adding some shadows here and there on the character, since I've kind of got a okay base to work with. A little messy, but we got the basic colors and stuff. So as for the face, I'm thinking the face is gonna be tilted, so her face will most likely be in shadow. And as for the hair, only the top will kind of get the lighting. And last but not least, go to the hand. Just gonna color the hand in. Alrighty. I'm just going to resize this bit. So now comes the part where kind of you can kind of rotate the character a little bit, you know. Sometimes you want to change up the angle of this as well. And you can do that easily if you put the character in one single group and all the other parts of the character in different layers. You can kind of adjust them separately. So now, you know, the lines are pretty much useless. So at this point we start slowly removing the lines. But, you know, there's a different feel about it if you do keep the lines. So it depends on what type of style you're going for. I personally, I just can't. I'm not good with dealing with lines. Alright, so if you look at this screenshot of the character, the white clothing is actually a bit more pink in tone. Let's go back here. I'm just trying to refine it a bit more, and maybe even change up the pose a bit too. So the line art in the end is sometimes it's kind of like, why did I even do make a sketch for it? Because I usually end up completely changing the composition of the characters. But yes, this is the part where I start pretty much what's it called? Pretty much experimenting. Change up the character a little bit, move the limbs in a few positions, see what works. Sometimes I might stumble upon randomly like a happy mistake or something. Is that what they call it? Bob Ross? A happy accident? Yeah. Just kind of move around the character until, oh hey, this actually looks pretty good. And basically sticking with that. I'm gonna remove the hand. Okay, let's... Oh, same, I'm not sure why I thought... Oh, thank you. Thank you, Psychor. Uh... So basically, I'll just work on her, what's it called? Basically the shirt, her arms and stuff. I'm not gonna be adding in the accessories just yet because those typically I like to put them on separate layers because I can move them around, you know, play around with the placement and stuff like that. And I'm just gonna select her head. So this is when you can kind of be a bit more creative and kind of rotate the head, you know. Sometimes you can make some really funny, have a bit of a laugh, you know, rotate her head all the way like she's possessed. Okay, let's rotate it back. So yeah, this is the advantage of having the layers separately. I used to paint the head in one single layer and it was really difficult to edit. And after that I was like, if I'm gonna spend like 2 hours editing the head and cutting it up anyways, I might as well have them on separate layers. So now the hair gets their own separate layer, the face gets their own separate layer. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and have a tiny bit of light source on the face. Possession, yes. Ah, got another super chat, thank you. Cannot do booba window no more. Super chat from Jam Mac, thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Well, I'm honored that for your title on me. Just trying to be like you. I'm sure you can do it. It does take time and practice, but I think you can do it. Anybody can. But the main challenge is the motivation, I have to say. Yeah, that is one challenging part. But everybody takes, every artist have their own path, basically. And one interesting story is that in college, I already knew how to digital paint someone, but in college there was this one guy. He was super talented, and this guy never used Photoshop, but I could see the potential in him. He was so good. He had so much potential, though, you know, his path, he chose to pursue another thing that was not drawing. But I was like, wow, okay, I guess each artist have their own path to follow. So I'm not sure where I was going with that, but yeah, I think everybody also takes different time to improve as well. I've seen some artists just, they evolve so fast. It's very impressive and kind of envious because I had to, well, I suppose I shouldn't say, but I was really envious. It's okay to be envious of other people and how much they improve, right? It's okay. But yeah, very talented. So, but I believe with hard work and the right practice and reference, I think you can definitely achieve it. Maybe it'll take a little longer, but I think in the end we will all be mostly in the same level. Cause you can't, I mean, there's always room for improvement. So technically, you know, I guess anybody can be better than anybody. It just depends on if you are willing to continue, like evolving in a way. Alrighty. Oh, I'm so sorry. There's some comments that is in another language that I can't understand. But thank you, I appreciate it. I think it's Spanish? Yes. Clarina Diaz, yes. Everybody definitely has their own style. Yeah, that is true. That is life. Some artists definitely takes a bit more time, but they will get there. They will definitely get there. And you know what? I think if you're smart about it, you can get there a lot faster too. Cause I remember when I just first started, I don't think I was practicing in a very smart way. I didn't use a lot of reference. Oh man. I didn't use a lot of reference and I was kind of just painting blindly or testing blindly. Like my first art program was definitely Photoshop, although I disliked it quite a bit because I was basically doing it blindly. But once I came back to it, I learned a bit more. Then I liked it much more because then I actually followed some tutorials that taught me, you know, some more efficient ways of painting. So yeah, proper guidance probably pretty important too. But guidance without practice is kind of useless too. You definitely have to put it into practice because, you know, you can theoretically know everything, but if you don't try it out, then I don't think it's very effective. But the most fun is to be able to experiment. Once you know how to work a art program, experimenting is the best way to learn. Because then you can experiment with color, you know. What's your favorite color to work with? What's the best way of painting and stuff like that. So yeah, this phase have the eyes on a separate layer, so you know, so that you can go back and kind of move it. Let's go ahead and have it like that. But first, I need to create another window and put on my secondary screen. Okay, the truth, Clarina Diaz, sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. The truth for my drawing, I only use as 3 brushes, side of paint tool. Oh, I know that program. Almost I do not use many brushes, but creating them is incredible. Sometimes the simpler your setup, the better. For example, I basically work with the round brush on Photoshop, the airbrush, and the lasso tool. Those are only 3 tools, but if you are able to master like a few tools and you can use them very efficiently, that's pretty good. But you know, testing out different brushes isn't a bad idea either. You know, sometimes I wish I kind of experimented with more brushes, but yeah, I've been really used to these 3 tools and I've just been using these and that's it. Sometimes I'll maybe use a 4th brush or a 3rd brush. There's definitely an appeal to just sticking with a few tools because you can master them. And this is basically first level, my first level for the face. This is like maybe 20% done because this is not it. But yeah, we'll just get like a rough look going after merge down, and then I start to basically drag the face around a bit here and there. Drag the face around here and there. Play around with the facial proportions. I'm going to make the head just a bit smaller. Probably gonna change her expression too, because it's not the right vibe for her face. She's a bit more regal with her eye makeup and appearance, so I'll probably play around with that. And she's got more of a cat eye, but I just do a kind of a fast job with the eyes and the face, just as a placeholder, you could say, because usually the end result looks nothing like what I have initially. So gradually I will be kind of editing the face here and there, maybe changing the eye angle, stuff like that. And some of you will probably make a joke about that, because I think that's the main thing people commented on, like how much times I change faces and the pose of the hands and stuff. But yeah, it's a lot of that. I wish I was as good at just, getting the head and the hand out in the first try, but no. Sadly, I don't know. I guess it has to do with my sketch. My sketch usually is quite messy, so yeah. So yes, the initial version of the character is quite, it's not the best. But I kind of just keep on at it, focus on each area a bit at a time. But yeah, this is maybe 10% done. And yeah, the streaming is definitely a little bit distracting too, because I definitely work a little faster without having to talk and stuff. And there is a little bit of pressure, I'll be honest, streaming it. It's kind of like the equivalent of someone watching over your shoulder. But it's okay. Alright, looking back at my small preview too here is also quite helpful for you guys to always refer back to the small preview. And another thing, always kind of rotate your canvas every maybe 10 to 30 minutes. And after you rotate, usually you tend to see some mistakes that you might not have seen when it was on the other side. She looks a little grumpy. We'll have to fix that expression later. Alrighty, so that is done. Next thing I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to think about the shadow. So I'm thinking we're going to adjust the shading a bit more. So I selected those areas that I want to have them a little darker. And in addition, you can also adjust the color for that shadow. I want to be a little more subtle. And also, I'm going to Control T transform and warp this. And I'm going to let's play around with the chest. Yeah, it might look a little crazy, but all I need is to feel that it's going in the right direction. Like, I'm looking at the small preview and I want to see. Well, maybe that might be too much. I just want to get the vibe. Sometimes you just have to feel that it's going the right direction. Sometimes you have to use your gut instinct as an artist. It's kind of illogical, but yeah, sometimes you just have to feel it. And move it around, maybe even this shoulder probably needs to be a little bit more, have a bit more room here. After I rotate the character. I'm just going to like basically rearrange the character a bit. Or maybe like this. Actually, okay, let's remove this. Let's rotate her a little. You know, we could have like a interesting Dutch angle. Dutch angle is basically the canvas is a little bit rotated, like more than 30 degrees, I think. I think that's what the teacher said when I was still in college. And he was like, you know, if you want to make your composition more dynamic, you use a bit of Dutch angle in your composition. Yes, that's basically it. You know what? This is not too bad. But will it still feel that way if I rotate it? I'm going to... Okay, let me just try something real quick. How would it look if I flip her head? Oh, hold on. Let me bring up this shoulder real quick. Let's see how that looks. So I basically changed her pose. Bring the arm up. Bring the face up a bit. Oh, hold on. I missed the face layer. Let's go with this. So yeah, I do this a lot. Like basically rearranging the character. I think I missed a super chat. I have to go back up. Oh. Corinne Suke, thank you for the super chat, and it's a thumbs up. Thank you. How Del Nadius says, how do you find doing animation? Yeah, it's pretty fun. I have prior experience in animation. I was in 3D animation, which is a little bit different than 2D animation, but it did teach me like rules of animation, like, you know, the secondary motion, stuff like that. A lot of good tips. But it's fun. It's definitely fun. I think this could work if I change her expression, because right now it does not fit the pose. Ramsey says, what I've learned all these years is that you need patience until you're satisfied with your art pieces. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, sadly, you know, sometimes I'm very picky, so I end up overworking the piece too. But in most cases, you do get more practice in because you're so not satisfied with your piece that you keep trying, but you end up with more practice. So the lighting did change because I flipped her face. So what I shall do now, take the hair layer. Let's go back to her reference, take the hair layer, and we're going to re-add lighting into the character. Let's go ahead, give her face a pop of highlight because the lighting is mostly coming from this side. And let's go ahead, give her a bit of rim light on this side of the face. Go back to the body and do the same. Bring her chest up just a bit. Move it over. So I'm adjusting the torso now. Let's go ahead, let's add a bit of pink hue on this part of her garment. I'm gonna use a thinner brush, dark outlines, to sketch out some of the seam design for the clothing. Okay. You know, if this was a more of a full-on piece, I'd probably do something a little risque with her design, because it's giving me Ari vibes. And you know what I do to Ari? It's definitely not the most safe designs. Okay, let me just clean up the bust area. Let me wrap this around and have the red string wrap around her. Let me see what's happening over here. Okay, I need to get a proper reference for that. But for now, we'll just do this. Let me go ahead and start cleaning up some of this area. Add a bit of shadow. I'm going to sketch out the armpit area. Contour her, that side of her. I don't know what is that? Back? Her back? Ooh, I feel like I could probably push her torso out a bit more. Like maybe push or warp that. I don't know, might be too much, but yeah, I was like, she's kind of tilted that way already. Sometimes, we gotta test out. Maybe I should push it a little more. Well, sometimes it's not always the case. That's why we try it out, and if it doesn't work, then you can undo. But one must never, let an opportunity to see if it'll look better go. So we gotta try everything we can. Okay, there's lots of comments. Let me just scroll up a little and read a bit. Let's see. Sujeto Delta 101 says, always thought the art pros just bust both poses and details and render materials out of thin air with nothing but their imagination. Well, I think that actually applies to some artists. Some artists are definitely like that, but for me, I'm more of I start off rough and most of my process is rough. Yeah. But I think if you start out with a clean sketch, you have more chance of being able to do what you just described. So, oh, Kai said lately I've been hating my art. I mean, I'm still drawing, but I'm not comfortable with the way it looks. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that, Kai. I think it's pretty normal for artists and for any creatives to, at points, just hating your own stuff. Like, I feel like that all the time. But, sometimes that just means that you're like getting ready to reach the next level. That's how I see it. That's usually how it is. Like, when you're feeling uncomfortable about your art and you think that it's not as good as you want it to be, usually that means it's time to improve, and that's when you can improve. Because when you're super confident about your art and you're happy with how it is, then the chances for improvement is not very high compared to when you're not happy with your art. Like, something's wrong. So in a way, you can look at it as a good thing. Alrighty, now onto the background hair layer. We'll just make some broad highlights. I rotate the character a little. I'm not sure. Just trying to see how it would look. And maybe the hand could probably be in a different position, but yeah. That's why it's on a different layer, so in case I'm not sure about it. Alright, let me just fill in the rest of the hair. I think what I'll do for the hair is have it swing a little, overlapping the character. I think there's room for that. I'm going to warp the back layer. So we can bring the hair over a bit. Like that. so that the hair can overlap the character. So this is just a rough idea of what I think that I can do, and it might look good. So we'll just put down a separate layer. Back to the character now. Don't even know what to do with this hand. I guess I'll just have it straight. And as for the head, I'll be working on it a bit more, so I can kind of test it out, you know, see maybe the head needs to be bigger / smaller. Sometimes that too, gotta resize the head and stuff. Flip the character. Well, the face, well, the eyes probably change directions a bit. Since the angle of the head, if she's looking at us, it might be a little bit, like, other options might be better. Let's see. Pretty purple eyes. I'll just take purple. She looks a little serious. I'm going to make her eyebrows a little bit more softer. Give her a little more of an arch eyebrows. Makes the face a little less stern. Have a bit of an open mouth. Okay, the face is better, but still I think needs a bit more of something. And that's something I need to figure out by playing around with the face a bit more. And also by playing around with the placement of the hair and whatnot. It's just a lot of like moving things around. Now let's take a look at some comments now. Okay, I'm just kind of scrolling randomly. Jessica says, it's interesting seeing your process. Thank you so much. No problem. My process is pretty messy, but I'm glad you enjoy it. Viz says, it always takes me forever to do highly detailed work. It does take a long time, but I think the faster you do them, the faster you get, and also use photo textures. That will make your process a lot faster. Cookie Bunny says, do you have a specific process when starting new projects, or is it freestyle approach? This is usually my approach. I guess you can say it's freestyle. It's pretty rough. Missouri says, do you use hard edge brush or soft edge brush while painting? I use a combination of both. Soft to blend and hard to shape the shading and stuff. Alrighty, back to drawing now. Okay guys, so I think it's been an hour since I started. So the rest of this process, voiceover process, will be available on my Patreon for the student tier. But this video will most likely stay up. If it doesn't, then I mean I'll at least keep it up for like a day or two. But most likely it'll be up. So yeah, thank you for joining my live stream. It's a little new. Hopefully I can kind of streamline this and make it a bit more clean. It's pretty rough right now. I'm just kind of trying it out and stuff. But yes, I might also do members only live stream for spicier content, because I can say that I could probably only do one piece out of like 6 or 8 pieces I do per month, because of, you know, how spicy it is. For sure I'm gonna get banned by YouTube. But yes, I will probably do members only spicier streams. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next voiceover. If I do any more of these portrait style ones with fully closed character, I'll hop on YouTube again. And if you guys wanna see like my process, you can just check out my other videos on YouTube. My process is basically didn't really change since my first Hinata painting process back in, I think it was a few years ago too. It's basically the same process. But yeah, thank you guys for joining. I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great day! Hey guys! Alright, so we're back. So I did do the first part of this, or I guess 80% of the first part of this on YouTube. I streamed it just to test it out. It was pretty fun, and I'm hoping to do more of this in the future, but I will, however, include most of the process on Patreon like I've done so before. But I will be notifying you guys via my social media when I do stream, so you guys can come and watch. But if you don't catch it, it will still be stitched into the voiceover painting process. So either way, you guys will be able to see all of it. Alright, so as you can see, I did do a bit of work after the voiceover. And now we can continue. I did go ahead and add a background. Background is photo, like a sakura and castle photo. I blurred it, and I went ahead and found a shrine arch, Japanese shrine arch, and blurred it as well. Since, you know, in this piece, the official art for her, sorry about that, for her you can see the arch, so I tried to kind of give a bit of that silhouette in there. And as you can see, I worked on her face a little bit, as well as adjusted the lighting for the character. Still quite rough, but I think it's heading into the right direction. So, shall we continue? For this part, I'm going to be focusing on the body. Let's go ahead and grab the reference for the body area and put it as close as I can. And yeah, we're just gonna have a closer look here. Closer look and slowly work our way at what's it called? At refining it basically. gonna use some shadow to just accentuate, oh, that might be a bit too much. Accentuate the shoulder blade. I'm gonna need to clean this up too. So we're gonna have a proper look at the seam placement for this outfit. Her outfit is interesting and very detailed, but in a different way. There's like a lot of detail in specific area of the character, which is from what I learned at working in concept art is a good technique to use when you design a character is to have a specific area where you put most of the details and not have a lot of detail in all the areas. So you pick like specific areas to put details, such as these areas, and you leave like a wide space in the character design with very few details, so that the audience, what they're gonna get drawn to is the area with the details the most, or the area without it. Either way, it makes for a good composition. Anyways, that's what I learned from working in the field. Just some interesting tidbits. And a lot of these information you cannot learn in school either, because they don't usually, well, depends on what school you go to, but yeah, most of the knowledge you'll probably gain as a concept artist or illustrator is working professionally. And even if that's not for you, you know, I think as artists, it's still quite beneficiary. Beneficent. Anyways, still good to at least try to work once in a company with more experienced artists, because you know, usually you'll be able to learn. So just refine this area, but you can tell that it's kind of overly sharp in some of these areas. Usually I tend to not like that, so I try to soften it. So now for this part, you know, if this was a full-on illustration, I'd probably do something with lace and make it a little sexier. And another thing is if I were to stream parts of my future voiceover on YouTube, it usually will be portraits like this because I can't do like full body pieces. You know how it is. Yeah, I'm gonna get banned so fast if I did. But yeah. So I am blending everything. And I'm kind of contouring the chest a little, as you can see. At the same time, I'm cleaning up as well. So as for the top here, so there's not much going on at the top, just a simple white top. But most of the details in the accessories for the character. So we're gonna tackle that after we get a nice base going. And once we get that done, we work on the accessories. That way, you know, if we want to change up stuff, we can do it very easily, quite easily, instead of, you know, cutting and pasting stuff on separate layers and then moving them. If we already have that going on, then we don't need to do that, right? Anyways, let's keep going. So you can tell that most of the cool tone for the shirt is towards the upper portion of the character's bust, and all the warmer tones such as the yellow tint is below. But in general, I try to do a little bit of a contrast, so you know, um, always need a bit of cool tone and a bit of warm tone in all the pieces that I do. Also, for this type of stuff, for clothing, observation from real life photo also will help quite a bit. So what I could also do for this piece is just look up cosplays for this character and observe real life photos of how the clothing will look in real life. And usually that's what I do if the character's already out and there are cosplay photos already. That's probably the closest reference you can get to real life shading. Okay, I think that's smooth enough. Let's move on to here. So, a fun fact is this month voiceover was supposed to be on Vi, and I did start her. However, the piece I'm working on is quite ambitious, so I don't have the confidence that I will be able to finish it this before the end of this month. So therefore, I opted for a portrait. Yep. But next month it'll be interesting. I'll be finishing up the trio, so Vi, and Kate I will have for next month. And also it'll be Christmas next month. Well, it'll be the holidays, so I'll be working on some themed characters. I wonder what I should do. But anyways, it'll be fun. Just continue to render, cleaning up the areas, the elbow areas and stuff like that. But anyways, I'm thinking of keeping the live stream on YouTube. However, let me know if you guys are okay with that. If not, I will remove it after a few hours. But yeah, I'm thinking of keeping it there for maybe a day or two. But if you guys have any objections to that, which you have the right since you guys are supporting me financially, so let me know. And I won't keep it on air for that long. I'll delete it the day of. Alright, so I pretty much cleaned up this area. I'm gonna create a new layer, constrain it down. We're gonna add a bit of cool tone, especially on the shoulder area. Since I have that going on the face, I'm just kind of translating that onto the rest of the character. So cool tone on top, warm tone on the bottom. That's gonna be kind of our theme for this. I'm going to take a bit of this color. Let's bring it up a bit to a warmer tone, and we will have that towards the bottom part of the character. Now that that's done, I have to find a clear reference of what is going on over here because it is very detailed. Don't want to mess it up. It's very detailed. Okay. It's like, oh, she's got like an obi there with some intricate knots going on. Let's see. Okay, I got a more detailed view of that area. I mean, once she is released, I'm gonna do a nice full illustration for her. And it's gonna take so much time because look at that detail. That's a lot of details. Alright, so you know what I like to do? Put the reference right where I'm working on it. Okay, so I kind of interpreted this area wrong. It's actually an obi. What I had put there is kind of like just wrapping around her torso, but it's actually not. So, okay, there's two. Hold on 1 minute. I need to get a better view. Okay. Okay, I need to copy that and make it a little bigger because, okay, bring it up. Alright, so it's actually, this is the white fabric, and there's actually a red fabric underneath this fabric, so I'm gonna go ahead and correct that. There's another red string design. Oh wait, hold on. But first, design for the obi. I think I'm gonna keep it like this. Maybe we can do a semi-transparent one. And then another red partition. And then uh, some some lace detailing. And then there's red fabric. But I think it'll frame the character better if I made it kind of like skin tone instead. And what I'll do is include a bit of red fabric here. So now we'll include this area and also this thing. The knots. Ooh, that's a lot. Okay, so this actually is wrapped here, in here. So now that I have that, let's go ahead and do a little drop down shadow. Yes, I picture her as Busty. Just 'cause, you know, she's got that vibe. She would look good as a Busty character. Alright, now that I have done that, I'm going to go ahead, darken this part. Let's go ahead and do a little more emphasize on the seam. Now that that's done, rotate this. Create a new layer. I'm going to I want to highlight her chest a bit more. Although, you know, realistically, probably not really necessary, but, you know, gotta be a little extra. I'm just highlighting her chest just a bit. For style, for the look of it. Very, very softly. Just gonna highlight the chest part. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a blue tone and just going to softly highlight the upper portion of the top. We still want to have that theme of cool tone on top and warm tone on the bottom. So I'll do a little before and after, before and after. Okay, so I suppose this will have to do. Add a tiny bit of highlight seam. So on top of this dark fabric area, to keep with the theme, we will put a little bit of blue on top. And towards the bottom area, you guessed it, warm tone on the bottom. And of course, now after I do that, I'm gonna have to slightly do a bit of paint over this area because it's looking a little sharp. And sharpness, it takes away from takes away from the thickness of the fabric, and two, it looks a little too sharp. So it always, personally, I like it a little softer. So let's go ahead and do this. Add a little rim light to the OB. I'm going to remove the reference real quick. Alright, let's do this. So now that that's done, the chest looks a little droopy, so we're gonna bring them up a bit. Use the liquify tool, just like move them up a bit. Just cleaning up that silhouette there. Let's take a bit of this color. And we'll do a little wrinkle here and there. Or try to, because sometimes it might not look that great. Let's see. Let's go ahead. Do another level of shading. Copy paste. We're gonna darken those areas a bit more. And what I'm gonna do is take the skin tone. We're just gonna brighten this part a bit. Merge down. Let's take a bit of this color and blend all of this in. I'm also gonna start adding a bit of folds, fabric folds. Let's go ahead and take a bit of this color, put it there, select the rest of this area. We're gonna use this color. Use this color here and take this brighter, warmer tone color and using this color as a rim light for the sleeve. So still we're getting some, highlights in the sleeve, even though most of it is basically in shadow. Let's go ahead here, just softly but surely blend them together. Blend, 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 blend. Oh, looking soft. I like that. Let's increase the brightness and contrast. So this is me just layering on a bit more shadow, and this principle you can apply to highlights as well. You can layer highlights on if you want. Take those parts, we're just gonna make them a little brighter. Also, I will change the colors as well. Make it a little bit warmer in tone. Warmer in tone and make it a little bit darker. I'm just going to erase that slowly. This just makes the piece a little bit more, you know those Pixar movies? Yes, that type of lighting. Those lightings. Pixar, Disney animation has one of the best lighting I've ever seen in 3D anything, 3D films. So in a way, those are great references to use. So this is sort of like that. If you observe their lighting, it's kind of like this. Alright, so now that I've rendered this out a bit more, actually what I want to do now is take this part, let's make it a little bit warmer in tone. Instead of making the lighting neutral, I basically lean it more towards a warmer tone. And same for the the shoulder area. So we're going to just do this, just increase the contrast. So now that the body is kind of okay, first before I move on to the head, I have to do this shoulder. Let me just pop the hair back. So with the hair, you know, it hides the awkwardness of the shoulder area. But without it, it's looking a little bare. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it like that for now. Let's go ahead and refine the shoulder area. Let me see if I can find like a closer up of her shoulder design. It's pretty detailed. There isn't too much. They're all... Okay, you know what? Let's just go for this. And of course, gotta put it right next to the part I'm working on. Create a new layer. So, okay, it's actually leaning this way. Let's fix that real quick. After we fix the general shape, now gotta fix the other area as well. Let's go ahead, include the red partition for the character. So now that the general shape is done, we're going to work on this part. So already, so all done, the general shape. Now after we do that, there's gonna be quite a bit of areas that I need to work on, but first let's give a little bit of thickness to the white fabric here. Let's go ahead and take a bit of the blue tone and spread it around. Lasso this part up. And I'm just gonna add the cool tone on the upper side of the fabric. Add a bit of highlight within the black lace, or yeah, I mean lace area, darker lace area. We're gonna get some little cute flower patterns. Let's go ahead and do like a general fast pattern shape for them. There's some little green leaves. There we go. I'll probably do a more detailed version once she's released, and once she's released, I'm gonna go all out, cause she kind of looks like the type of character I like to draw. I call them the Ari type. Basically that vibe. All right, next is basically just trying to paint, render the sleeve. Hold on one second. Let's go ahead and extend this over a bit. Let me clean that up. Take that. Take the highlighting tone, bring it up. Oh, whoops. Just doing a little before and after, seeing if it works or not. What I'll do next is I'm going to take a bit of the skin tone and add it into the sleeve. And then what I'll do is take a bit of the sleeve highlight and work it into the arm. That way I can try to blend them both together. That way the transition of the sleeve and the arm hopefully won't be as abrupt. And then increase the opacity, merge down, take this away. I'm gonna go ahead and re-render this part right here. Re-render. I need a softer transition for this area. It felt a little bit too sharp and abrupt, so going for a softer look. And oftentimes you can kind of see in 3D feature movies the armpit area, if you see the armpit, is quite soft. So usually I tend to aim for that look. Like we want the areas to look nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. I mean, it might sound weird, but you know, if you look at your own armpit, you can kind of see how soft that area is, even though it's got like little wrinkles here and there. So what we want is aiming for something like that. Yes, that looks a lot softer. As you can see, it's much better. Much, much better. And of course, take that, take this, and rework this a bit, make her arm just a little thinner. So I do catch myself sometimes making the arm too thick sometimes, just as I make the character thick. So I try to like keep an eye on that. That's kind of my thing, so make the torso area just a little bigger. So now if we add the hair back, it'll look okay. That works. Alrighty. Let's see here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, this part is a little complicated. So, you know, typically what I would do with these type stuff, take the in-game and paint over it. That's my best advice. If you want to finish it, if you don't want to focus on it too much, if you want to save some time when it comes to intricate details like that, take the in-game and paint over it. Alrighty, so this is part, I'm gonna stop streaming for, stop recording for this part, and I will see you guys shortly. Just gotta make sure my recording don't corrupt. Welcome back, guys. So, let's see where I'm going to work on her. I think I will work on the face next. So after that, after I work on the face, all that's left is really just fine-tuning, cleaning up and stuff. So we're gonna get a nice close-up of her face and hair, because that's pretty important. Let me check if I have a good reference for the hair. So this would probably be a pretty good reference. She's got cute, pretty intricate but cute earrings. And her earring repeats over here. So I'll probably paint her earring duplicate over here. So yes, let's go ahead and zoom in. I'll work on the hair first, so I'm gonna remove. Oh, that looks weird. Okay, let me just remove the side bangs and work. I think I need a bit more reference. Let's have a look at her in-game here. Okay. Alrighty, so let me just grab So on the side, it actually looks more like this. Put this right here. So we're gonna need to adjust this side a bit. Make it a little stick that side a bit closer to her head. And then also include the side bangs. Let me go ahead and add shadow around this area, or around the where the face is. This is like the short portion of her side bang. She's got a longer portion. Let's go ahead and I'm just looking. The hair seems to really curl. So I'm just like trying to curve it the way the reference is. Other than that, we're just going to blend this in. Use the lasso tool to help maintain shape and continue. So we're gonna keep doing this. Bring a bit of the warmer tone into the cooler pinker tone. And we're going to have the warmer tone towards the bottom of the hair. So the hair, usually the face portion of the character takes the longest because, especially with stylized characters, these areas are very important. You can literally have rough rendering on the clothing and all that. As long as your face is good, usually the piece, well, at least that's what I think. I'm a big fan of well-drawn faces. And even if people complain of same face syndrome, as long as the character, the same face syndrome matches the character, it's great. Or personally, that's what I like. So, whatever you do, whatever I do, I mean, I gotta make sure the face looks good, or at least matches the character. Matches the character the best that I can make it. Let me go ahead and extend a bit of space down here. I see a little hair strand over there. Add that in. There. There we go. Let's do like a curl of hair on the side. Just kind of following along. This is where it gets tricky once you start adding in, those details. Once that happens, sometimes you'll have to re-render certain areas. And sometimes the color, that you had previously doesn't exactly match anymore. So right now I'm finding the hair doesn't look as good. Maybe I'll bring the face down a bit like this and refine her features a bit more, since her features are pretty angled. She's got refined face like a feline, like the Ari type. I'll also include just a bit of highlight. Oh, that's weird. Why is it? Oh wow, that's why I'm on a darker color. I'm just painting the highlight bit by bit. So warm color on the bottom, cool tone on the top. You can apply that to the eyes as well to be able to make that glossy look. Sometimes it doesn't always work. That's what I find, this glossy look. Sometimes it fits perfectly, other times it just doesn't go well. But, you know, we won't know if we don't try it, so I always try it out. And let's go ahead and give her like a angular eyebrows. I know that earlier on in the first part I was like, she looks too stern. Let's do like a in between. Before, after. Yeah, it might be a little bit too much. Mm, yeah, let's go with that. And as for the hair, I'm going to reposition this. And this part is actually a lot shorter, so this part of the bang, bring this down. Let me go ahead, lighten the eyes a bit. And for the hair, it's a little darker down here. Let me just darken or brighten the tip after at the rim light. Add a bit of skin tone too. Sometimes that helps blend it in. I learned this trick from anime style, because a lot of times you'll see this like nice soft transition where the hair tip kind of blends into the skin tone, and I think it actually looks quite nice. So yeah, I started using it. Let's take the hair, darken it some more, constrain down, and in general I'm going to use a warmer tone but on the beige side. aim it towards the bottom of the hair. That will help create a soft rim light. While the upper part of the hair is more of a cooler pink, the lower part of the hair is warmer in tone, which matches the general colors theme for the character. You know, I've only recently started to kind of do this a bit more often. I mean, in terms of determining color themes, what I mean by that is determining which area of the character will have a cooler tone and which area will have a warmer tone. So if you actually include that type of theme, usually your art rendering will look a little bit similar to like 3D renders, like those, you know, Pixar, Disney type renders. I've been trying to aim for that because those renderings are so pretty and colorful. So I want my art to also be, or I want my art to evolve towards that direction. As well as, you know, those super render cinematics. That too, I want my art style to transition into that, more of that style. That would be cool. That'll probably be my next goal. Merge down now. Let's go to the face. I'm just going to darken it a bit. Darken it up a bit. Take a bit of the eyes. Make it a little brighter. I'm gonna use the cool tone. Add cool tone towards the upper area of the eyes. I'm gonna take this color, bring it up a bit. Use the airbrush, blend it upwards. Yeah, I think the eyes still could use a bit more work, but it's one step closer to what I'm looking for. Now onto the hair, so we're gonna start off with this side. This is gonna be a bit more refined. Take this color, use it as a rim light. Next up, pop back the hair on this side. I'm gonna bring it closer actually. And I'm gonna just observe how does it look, and basically try my best to go ahead and try to get all that detail that I can, match the hair as close as I can. Let me go ahead and grab this area and make it a little more on the pink side. Have it a bit more like that. So the shadow will be more on the cooler pink side. The highlight is more on the warmer apricot side, or slightly orange, I would say. But yeah, in general, kind of like that. Add a bit of shadow. Oops. Go on the bottom hair layer now. I'm just gonna roughly clean that part up. Let's go ahead and add some hair strand. For the hair strand, use the lasso tool. Using the lasso tool, I'm going to just basically add a little extra silhouette on the outside of the character. Oh, this is... I have conflicting thoughts about using this color now. It's a little too apricot for my liking. But let's go ahead and finish using it. Hopefully it'll start looking good. So towards the top of the hair, we'll just try to match it to the shadow. And last but not least, get the fluffy ears. I'm just gonna use a bit of the in-game color plus the color I've already got. And let me just pop back the hair decor, because I think this is what basically, that's her iconic look with the hair decor and stuff. Without it, you know, she definitely looks more like her with it on. Let's go ahead. Just moving around the head, see what looks better and stuff. Move the character up a bit. Which means we're gonna have to work on the torso. I mean, yes, the torso. I mean, not the torso, the waist area. Quickly, I am filling in the space. I think our eyes might be a tad too bright. Also, the neck part, I'm going to move it downwards a bit. Actually, no, this is better. I think, yes, her features definitely need to be sharpened up a bit, but this will have to do. There we go. Just kind of refining that for a bit. Alright, so the general color and general color is almost done. The general color rendering almost done. After, we're going to start working on the smaller details. So at this angle you don't really get to see her fluffy ears. But I think we can play around with that a bit, since this is a 2D drawing, and we can definitely play around with this. You can literally like put characters in impossible poses in 2D. And they'll be, you know, people might say stuff about it, but hey, it's not real life, so hey, you can do whatever you want. Alright, let's go ahead and do a bit of rendering for the hair. I'm just gonna try to see if I can get a good composition from what I'm doing. Sometimes, especially with long hair, it takes a few tries for me to get like a composition that I'm happy with. Alright, so we got the base hair, and this is gonna be kind of like the hair overlapping the character a bit, creating some layering. Layering is always good in illustrations. You know, it just kind of helps the audience, or help pulling the audience into your painting a bit more. Now, oh, hold on one sec. Okay, I see that she's got her hair in a like a ponytail. Oh well. But I'm gonna have her hair kind of loose. I'll probably do the ponytail in the more official, or not official, but like full rendered, full body illustration once the character is out. But for now, let's aim for a nice portrait. So this is the basic overlap I have in mind, but it doesn't hurt to kind of play around with it a bit. Sometimes you can find better composition if you move it around. I guess we could have something like maybe one of them could be overlapped this way, and it can catch a bit of the highlight, perhaps, just to create a bit of interest. I'll probably move this down a bit too. This might be a little too high. We'll do it. Maybe I'll move. Maybe this could be like second part of the overlap. Okay, I think that's what I'll do. Delete these parts. Alrighty, so now is the part where I am gonna, excuse my language, but you know, S myself, cause the details. So what we will try to do, you know what? I think I can take this. Let's take this. Okay, let's go here. Let me go ahead and give the accessory its own group. Alrighty, so we got the base. Gotta make sure it's like the right size. Isolate it, and we're going to go ahead and paint over it because I'm not going to be able to finish this. Trying to save time making it, or trying to see if I can finish this piece as fast as I can with quality. So what I'll do is basically, let's see, paint out the detail that's missing or blocked by the hair, which is simple enough because we already have a good idea of what the other side looks like. So somewhat like this. Next up is warping it to the perspective of the character. Like that. And there is a red string attached like this. And on the other side of the character is red stitching. Let's go ahead and do that. And she's got really pretty patterns as well, which we can apply some Japanese pattern on top of the clothing later. Okay, so we're gonna render this out next. Hey guys! Alright, so I decided to do a bit more streaming. I did do a first part. Oh, hold on, let me turn to do a bit more streaming. The preview. It's messing up the audio for me. But yeah, this is kind of, I would say 80% done. Still need to refine a few things. But the first part was sketch and also rough color and shadow placement. So I did a bit more recording, and the full recording plus the live stream will be made available on Patreon later. For this streaming in particular, it will be removed after. The first one will stay up, but this one will be deleted after. But yeah, thank you guys for coming in, and oh, sorry, the music is very loud. Let me turn it down then. Is that okay? Good night, Samantha. Hello. It's pretty cool to see, I see a lot of you guys are kind of from different countries, which is pretty cool. Welcome, welcome. Alright, so basically we're just going to work on this a little bit, and I will finish this off after. So let's do like an hour stream. So right now it is 9 p.m. where I'm from. Oh well, around 9 p.m. So we'll end it around 10. So yeah. Oh, for some of you it's morning. Good morning, Tofu. Cute. That's a cute That's a cute username. Hello, hello to everybody. Speed painting on this channel again. Am I going to upload? Ask Mary Christine. Um, I'm not sure if I have any safe for work, safe for work video process. I will, but most of my video process have been. I don't think YouTube will find it appropriate, so probably not. Only safe for work ones. Nearly 3 a.m. That's crazy. I've stayed up till 24 hours before just to finish a piece. But yeah, get some sleep. Get some sleep when you can. Alright, I should probably start. So basically now I'm just working on the accessories and the face. I got plenty of references. So the necklace is a screenshot. I'm gonna paint over it because her necklace is so detailed. And if I want to do it from scratch, it's gonna require a lot of time. So in order to kind of put the amount of details I want into her necklace and, you know, do it at a fairly good quality, a screen grab would be the best option. And you'll see this like done a lot. If you're working professionally, they'll send you 3D models and stuff like that, paint over it. Uh, speed is always valued when you're working in the industry, like concept art, game companies, movie companies, stuff like that. Um, Usually what matters is the end result and not really the way you do it. So if you can find a faster way to produce art at a high quality, that's usually what they're looking for if you're trying to get into like uh, you know, game company and that type. So yeah. Alright, so I just added a bit of shadow to match what was going on her shirt. Um, we can also pretty much do the same for the highlight. Brighten that up. So you can kind of tell from the small preview that it's already kind of looking a lot better. It looks blended into the environment and all that. Next up is just blending everything in. There's another bit of gold trim around this area, so I'm just gonna add that in. Right here, it looks like there's some detailing like this. So I can just paint it in, scribble it in a little bit, just for that detail. I mean, you just wanna be able to at least feel it if you zoom out, which I think you will. But once you zoom in, you'll probably see like, ooh, that's rough. Because that's usually how it is. You paint at a high resolution, and then when you zoom out, it actually looks pretty clean, even though it's actually not. Well, I'm just basically refining some of these area and even adding some shine to the metallic part. As for the purple part, let me go ahead grab a highlight. Add a bit of highlight towards the end of the purple, or not the end, but the bottom area, which helps create a nice translucent look. Let's add a bit of shine. We can add maybe one dab shine here. And basically just contouring some of these details and stuff like that. Oh no, someone says I can help. I can't hear your voice well. I'm sorry. Oh no. Okay, let me turn my voice up. Okay, I hope this is better. And I can't read your name because your username's in Korean. Okay. Oh, hold on, I wanna know your brushes. Well, my brushes are pretty simple. It's the solid round brush and the airbrush. And they are both standard Photoshop brushes. My brushes are nothing special. They're really basic brushes. Alright, so let's continue. We can add a bit more details such as highlight. And I see this trick quite a bit. So basically you just highlight the edge of the object that you wanna make feel more metallic. So just highlight both areas, and then you can do like little scribbles for like scratch effects. And you see this quite a bit in Blizzard concept art, or Blizzard, I would say. I'm trying to think. It's a older game. I forgot, but like Diablo concept art, they do this quite a bit with metallic. Just highlight the sides and stuff, and add some like scratches and stuff, which adds to the it makes the render look a lot better, I would say. Makes it look more interesting, the more small details that you can put into your art. So this necklace, I would say, from this to this, it looks alright. It'll do. It will do. And after you finish the necklace, don't forget the drop down shadow from the necklace. So let's go ahead and put the string, highlight the red string, create a new layer underneath. I'm going to go ahead and just add a bit of drop down shadow. This will really sell it. Let me lower the opacity a bit, because we don't want the shadow to look too dark either. Sometimes too dark shadow makes the piece look harsh. Also the earring, the earrings, super detailed. So in order to save time and also to have a pretty accurate look to her accessory, take a screenshot and paint over it. Let me see which screenshot I took that from. Oh, I think it was this too. So what I'll do, the plan is to paint over this, make it look nice, and flip it over to this side. So we're just going to duplicate that. First step, so the lighting is on this side. So what we'll do is brighten this side. Let's bring back some of the shadow. Bring back some of that shadow. Add a bit of highlight onto these tiny areas. I'll probably need to reposition them a bit. This one probably like that. This one, let's put it down. Actually, might be a bit too big. I'm just looking at the reference and trying to gauge the size. And after, I think I need to make the ears. Where is the ears? Where's the cute fluffy ears? I want to make her ears fluffy. I basically have her her hair separated in multiple layers. Let's go ahead, darken that up. I'm gonna try to use like smaller brush strokes. Akasa says, so happy I caught your live stream. I thought you were done for the day after leaving earlier. Yeah, I thought it was pretty fun, so you know what? I'll try to do a bit more. Yeah, I haven't done live streaming a long time. I think the last time I did it was like years ago, so yeah, kind of miss it. It's just sometimes, well, it's just I've been really busy, you guys know that. So not a lot of time to do a live stream, but hey, I took a break this month, so I might as well try it out, see how it is. And YouTube is a bit more convenient for me because I hardly use Twitch. I think some of you suggested Twitch, but YouTube is a bit more convenient, I think. Oh, got a super chat from Andre God. Thank you. I'm not sure what R means, but thank you for the R $2. Say hi to Brazil. Hello, Brazil. I see that I have a lot of Brazilian fans, I think. Well, in my first live stream, it was interesting, but sadly I couldn't understand any of that. I couldn't understand. I'm so sorry. But it's pretty cool to see that some of you are from different countries. Although I have no idea what you guys are saying. It's very interesting. Alright, so we got the ears. I'm gonna copy, create another shadow. Oh, just see the box office artist. Ooh, your name is highlighted. I'm not sure why, but thank you. Amazing work. I love seeing your process. Thank you, and I'm glad you enjoy it. Yeah, I used to do live stream on another. I tried Picardo once. And also there was this OG live streaming platform. I forgot what it was called, but I also live streamed on that like maybe 7 years ago. It was a long time. I also live streamed with DeviantArt once. It was interesting. Very interesting. It was fun. Alrighty, so added a bit of shadow to the fluffy ears, which I think helps with blending in the earrings, because now it doesn't feel as flat. Before it was feeling kind of flat. I don't know, something's still a little missing. Let me stack on some more shadow and see how that feels. Ooh, that feels better. Just kind of I'm just kind of feeling it out with my instincts. Cause sometimes you know, you don't want to overthink things and instincts. I think every artist have instincts, and you just know when it doesn't, something is not right, and you can't quite figure it out. And a lot of times it just requires a lot of experimenting and testing out to kind of see, okay, maybe this will work better. That's the best time to improve too, because then you'll figure out what you like, basically, what you prefer and stuff. Alrighty, so I think this should do it. Let me add a bit of highlight on this side of the gem to create a more translucent look. Add a bit of background color as well overall on the necklace. It just helps blend the objects into the background a bit more, I think. Okay, it's a little rough, but we'll roll with this, and let's go ahead and do that. Duplicate onto the other side. Of course, we will adjust this accordingly. So this earring will actually be lower. Let me just ooh, okay, if I want to show this earring a bit more, what I'll have to do is adjust the ear on that side. So let's go ahead and do that. And that's why, good thing I had this on a separate layer, because then I would have had to cut the ear into a separate layer and all that. It's just gonna be a little bit more time consuming. So it's a little more layers that you're working with if you have, you know, the hair in multiple layers, but it's more convenient in the long haul. Long term, it's more convenient if you know you're indecisive. Oftentimes I'm indecisive and I work, I guess you could say freestyle if you're the type of artist to, you know, not be very structured when you start out. Layers are your friends. I think I have had pieces that reach like 200 layers before. Yeah, I used to paint with not a lot of layers, but the more I paint, the more I'm trying to find like the most efficient way to achieve something, right? So yeah, the more I started to test things out, I determined that having more layer in the long run is a better idea. But I do know artists that use less layers and it works for them. It's just it's hard for me nowadays, but yeah. Alright, so I moved the ears. Okay, find the earring. Now the problem with having too many layers is that one, sometimes you get too lazy. You don't name all your layers, and another is like you try to find where that layer is at. Where is that item? So I'm basically gonna do the reverse of what I did for the other earring. So now we're gonna have shadow on this side and highlight on this side. Like this. Just to match the environment a bit better. Of course, I'll need to adjust this a bit more. Let's go ahead and paint over it a bit. Add a bit more highlight on the gem. There. That looks, oh, it actually looks a little confusing, if I'm being honest. It looks rough. just blend it out just a bit better. Let me go ahead and increase the contrast. Maybe that'll do something, you never know. Let me rotate this a bit. Actually, you know what? Distort this. Actually, make it a little bit. Oh, okay, that might look a bit weird. But, play around with the perspective for the earring. Trying to create a bit of variety or different variation for the angles usually helps. Oh, okay, that might be a bit too much because you can do some crazy things with these. Pretty interesting. Oh, Marco says, you make look so easy, but I know how hard it is. Oh, you think I make it look easy? Oh, thank you. Yes, I understand. I totally get where you're coming from. Same when I was beginning with digital art, I think also other artists, you know, I look up tutorials and they make it look so easy, but when I try it, it's always a little very challenging. But I think the more you do it, the easier it gets. So with practice, anything can be easy for you. Well, I take that back. In most cases, when it comes to art, the more you do it, the easier it is. But yeah, I think I need to take this piece, make it a little bigger or something, because the tail looks a little too chunky for that angle. So maybe I make it thinner. So, okay. So this one is good. Now I do the tiny. I'll do the tiny studs. Thankfully, the tiny stud is easy enough to do it without having to, you know, paint over and stuff. Just some normal studs. There we go. And small details like this, usually we don't need to be too worried about it. Now that that's done, I'm gonna call it earring. Go back to the hair layer for this ear. And just gonna extend it since that ear is pretty pointy. It's got a pointy end, so gotta match it up. So there we have the earring, the necklace, ready to go. Let me flip it because usually we flip it every 10 to 30 minutes. The face needs work, but I will do that later. The earring needs, I think it needs to be repositioned somehow. I'm just not sure how, which means experimenting. Can we make this kind of fly a little? Maybe this can be a separate piece. I don't know. Like a extra dingly bit for the earring. There we go. And I'm just going to clean that up. Time for her headdress. This is also a screenshot from where is it from? I think from this. It's a tiny image, but basically what I'm trying to get is this shape. And once we have the shape, then we can render it out a bit more. Even if it's low res, all you need is a shape. Then you can start sculpting out the dimensions for this. So let's go ahead first with shadow. Let's go ahead, add some dimensions. So on each of the sections, we're gonna have highlight and shadow. So I did the shadow now. We are going to put the highlight in. For here, the highlight should be on this side because that side is the side that's facing the light source. And that should be it. I guess we could put a bit of shadow here. Highlight on the side, highlight on the side. So I'm just thinking where the light source is and then applying it to most of the objects, or especially her accessories. And around this area as well, I'm going to be including this area. We are going to put in a bit of the background color. This way it blends a little better into the background, and usually that's what you want. Trying to go for that Pixar look, you know, the super harmonious, the super balanced look of warm and cool tone. Trying to aim for that style. Let's see. Botoko Lotokos. Sorry. Sorry about that. Do you use a screen tablet or non-screen tablet? It is a screen tablet called Cintiq. It's the newest one, Cintiq 22. And I'll just say that not all artists prefer this, but I do. Some artists, you know, they prefer the classic tablet without the screen. But personally, I think a screen tablet improves your workflow. So yes, that is the one that I use, and I would definitely recommend it if you can save up for it, because it is a lot pricey. There is a more affordable version. It's by another company. I have the one made by Wacom. But the other company is more affordable. I believe it's maybe around 500-600, which is like just a fraction of what a Cintiq. I mean, yes, Cintiq costs. Do I have? No, wait. Yes. No. No, Cintiq is another thing, is it? Oh, sorry, I'm getting confused. But yeah, it's a fraction cost of Wacom tablets. But if you have it saved up, Wacom is better, personally. But yeah. Alright, let's get back to working on the highlights for her crown. There we go. Let's go ahead and use a bit of airbrush. Airbrush is quite good when it comes to metallic shine. Just kind of brush on a few areas, and then after do a few little scribble here and there. But I understand that this might look easy, but it might be a little harder when you try to do it. The more you do it, the easier it will be, I promise. Because all you need to remember is sometimes there's a formula to the technique you're about to do, like this, like the metallic rendering stuff. Organic stuff like faces and like skin tone is a lot harder. There's no technical way of going about it. There's no steps. It's more like you need proper referencing, and you need to have what's it called? Color principles, which I cannot explain it, but basically, you know, you gotta balance out cool tone with warm tone. And let's see what else. Color balance, contrast, and all that, which is hard to explain. But with metallic stuff, you know, it's just like highlight and squeeze the highlight with shadow. Have the highlight in the center and shadow on the side. Yes, that's pretty much the the technical technique for it. And but where you place it, you know, sometimes you need a bit more experience. Like you need to look at reference sometimes to make it really look realistic. Let me just have a look at her actual design here. She's got a interesting little design for this part. Ooh, her what's it called? Her headdress is actually a little sci-fi looking, because it's got like streamlined shapes. That's kind of what I learned as well in while working. Yes, working in concept art. I was working. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I should say this. I think it'll be okay. I worked on Mass Effect, the Andromeda one. Actually, I quit before it was shipped, but yeah, I learned quite a bit. And one thing that I remember took with me was that, you know, the senior concept artist, he was like, yeah, fantasy designs usually a bit more organic, like more curvy shapes and stuff, and sci-fi is usually more streamlined. Hard shapes like this. This is a hard shape, streamline. So yeah, that's why I was saying, ooh, her headdress looks sci-fi. A little sci-fi. Not too much. But the whole character in general does, you know, she's not super streamlined, so she's got the fantasy vibe, but her headdress looks a little sci-fi. Yeah. I'm just going to move this a little closer. Oh yeah. Xiaoling Kitsune says both XP Pen and Huion have a long way to catch up to Wacom. They are not quite there, but for half the cost of Wacom, they more than worth the money. Yes, that is right. It's a yeah, if you can afford a Wacom, it's definitely an option that you can look at. You know, you can still create some pretty awesome pieces. It's just Wacom is a little more convenient. You know. Alright, I think the headdress is kinda there-ish. I think next what I'll do is, let's take this. I'm just going to brighten it up to match the lighting. Because it was kind of not, it was a bit too dark, and you can see the lighting cuts at the hair. There's a strong, you know, lighting and shadow. So usually when that happens, I try to translate that into the other parts of the character as well. Okay. That should be okay for now. Let's move on back to the hair layer. And we are going to add a bit of shadow. Shadow implied from the headdress. We can imply that a little bit. You don't actually have to know like the exact physics of how the shadow will lay on top of the hair. You can just have a little bit of it, and that's the beauty of 2D, because you can basically, you know, create shadow when there's not supposed to be shadow, and vice versa for the highlight. And let me just zoom in here. Gonna work on the hairline now. So the hairline, let's put it right in here. And I'm just gonna be very subtle with the placement for the lines. Let's go ahead and do that. And adding some background color onto the top of the hair. Use the lasso tool. I'm gonna keep this area fairly clean. Even though I'm using airbrush to blend, I can still make this area look sharp by using the airbrush to restrict certain areas. Let me see if I can add a tiny bit of skin tone up here. After that, let's add a little bit of hair texture right at the top of the head. Merge down, go to the hair layer. And we'll do the same. Add the background color. And then add, oh, I might need to erase some of this, some of the hair over here. Let me just blur it out because it's looking a little like you could see basically the seam. So blur that area out to make the top half of the hair seamless. There. Let's see what else am I missing? Probably this area. The sleeve, her sleeve's got some details. Genshin Impact always has very detailed characters. I feel like I probably spend like half the time painting the details. Let me see how that looks. Okay. I think that's doable. So let me go here. We'll paint it in the decor group. What I'll do is I'm gonna take this, even though it is not the same design, I'm using it as a base. Make it small. Ooh, it's already looking a lot better just to have that detail there. Yeah, it's definitely not the same, but I can imply that it's similar. Okay, so let's clean this up. We're gonna continue this shape, extend it like that. Add the shadow. And the final shape is actually a little bit more round. And it also has this thingy right here. Take that there. Alright. And just place it underneath. Oh, thank you. I got another super chat from Little Ash Things. Always love your art. Great to be able to watch one of your streams. Thank you for sharing your time with us. Thank you. No, thank you, Little Ash Things, and everybody that's watching. Thanks for keeping me company. It's nice to kind of talk. Well, knowing that I'm talking to you guys. Usually, I'm just recording, and then after people listen to it. But yeah, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. So now, now all I have to do is, I think what I have to do is do this part. So it's a little different from the earring. First, I'm gonna cut this away, leave the gem, and we're just gonna do basically I'm not sure what this is called, but what's it called? Anyways, you guys, yes, this general shape right here. So let's get that shape going. It's still kind of like, it's pretty messy, I would say, but you know, like if you zoom out, if you look at here, it's not that bad. Let me just make it a little bit darker because it's quite dark on the reference. Probably I need to make this part a little lighter. The white garment area of her arm. Make it a little brighter. Okay, let me see what time it is. Wait, when did I say I was gonna stop? Oh yeah, 10. Around 10, okay. Let's see, what else? Oh yes, the hair. The hair needs to be worked on. Oh, I used to have this arm right here too. This one arm. But will it add to the piece? I wonder. Okay, I'll consider it later. But for now, let's go ahead and work on the hair. So I did have some overlap of the hair. Oh, this part I need to fix. But this is the first overlap and another one. So the goal of overlapping the hair is just to have another layer to the composition. Like you have the background, the foreground, which is the character. Oh wait, no. The background, the character, and the foreground, which is stuff that's overlapping on the character. Now all this technical term. Yeah, I don't know a lot of technical terms. I just remember a few from my college days. Alright, so let's go ahead and refine it. I did do a sort of a semi-rough blocking of the hair. I do have some shadow and highlight going. But I want to also add a bit of highlight towards the bottom. So a bit of highlight, rim light, or more like rim light on the bottom of the hair that is in shadow. And we'll just gradually blend it out using the airbrush. You can also have a bit of lasso tool. Use a bit of lasso tool to help with shaping it, keeping it sharp. Funny thing is, the lasso tool, I never really used the lasso tool like how I use it now. If it weren't for working at a startup mobile game company, because one of the senior artists, she used a lot of lasso, and I saw her using the lasso, and she was like, oh, you can do it faster this way, and that's where I learned it from. So yeah, most of your skills or your technique you'll probably learn from another artist at a workplace or online. Well, at least that's where I got my the lasso tool, which I use like 100% of the time. That's where I got it from. But yeah, it's good. Always recommend, at least if you can, get a job in as an artist. Hopefully you'll be able to work under someone that knows more than you. That's like the time where you can improve the most. Even in art college, I was in 3D animation, and uh, I've it was I learned a little. I mean, I learned a lot, but it was nowhere near the amount of stuff I learned after I entered the workforce. But yeah, it's it's kind of hard for me, but I wish I could tell you guys all the drama I power. it was it was pretty huh, you know, you guys know. Robin Andrew Tucson says, LOL. Regarding the lasso tool though, I never used lasso tool until I started watching other artists use use it, especially me. Yeah, you know, a lot of stuff you never thought of using, but you know, you learn it from other artists. It's like that with everything. But sometimes, you know, you see an artist use something, um, try to kind of experiment with it and see if you can use it with another thing that makes it unique to your style. Or try to see what you can do with it that separates yourself from others. Because that's also quite important. Sometimes you don't want to be too influenced. You can take other artists' painting technique, but develop your own thing. That's the best, I think. So yeah, it looks super rough. If I zoom in, you guys can see. Oh my gosh. Look at what's going on here. Usually, you know, my piece look clean, but if you zoom in, you'll see like all this. It's like the makeup filter or like the Snapchat filter, I guess. That was a bad analogy. Okay. I don't know. I feel like I'm spending too much time on this area. But I'll have to say that talking while painting kind of makes me like sometimes derp out in one area, and I'll just be on that area for a while without realizing it. It's definitely different than, you know, painting, just like painting straight on with no talking whatsoever. Okay. Still looks a little rough. I'm not into it. It's it's got a flow that I don't quite like. So when it comes to stuff like this, like, you know how sometimes you feel, ooh, I rendered it out, but it's not looking quite right, then it's time to experiment and to move things around, you know? Move things around a little bit, see if composition looks a little better. Because just like basically sticking with one composition, I don't know, I'm kind of a indecisive artist, or you could call me a freestyle artist if that sounds better. But yeah, but mostly I think I'm just indecisive, like, ooh, am I doing it right? Is that the best look that I can get for this character, or the best composition? So I end up changing it quite a bit. But yeah, like, I'm just seeing, okay, how can I get the hair to flow a bit better? And at the same time, you have to look at the small preview, because like, if you always look at the zoomed in preview, you won't be able to pick up some of the composition, I would say, mistakes that uh, you can run into. So yeah, looking at the small preview in combination with zoomed in pieces will give you the best feel of your art. And always, well, I wouldn't say always, but try to be critical as well. You know, I'm always questioning myself, is this the best composition for this character? And I end up you know, changing it up and stuff like that, I would say I spend more time editing than anything else, like changing, moving things. I mean, giving people anxiety just looking at me changing the hand like 50 times. That was in one of the comments in my YouTube video. I mean, I feel them. I kind of feel anxious too when I don't know what to do. Okay, I think this is looking a lot better. Now, onto this hair strand. So I'm layering hair, each in their own layer, just to keep things simple. Also, you know, in case I want to change it up, then I can do it a lot easier. Oh, could probably use like another one of this, so I'm just gonna copy this and warp it. But of course, if you just left it like that, it looks like a copy paste. So we gotta change up the shape a bit, make it look a little more dynamic. I think maybe like that, and even, you know, increase the highlight of the hair. Sometimes it might be a little bit too similar to the background color and elements. So gotta make it pop somehow, either by darkening it or making some areas brighter. Yeah, you know what? Even after doing all this, I'm still not sure if this is the best, but ooh, this is part of just painting for me. Just sometimes it definitely gets a little stressful. But yeah, always trying to think, is this the best? Something feels weird. Is this the best composition that I can make? Always question yourself. Well, I always question myself. Okay. Alright, a pretty good question. Seshir, I'm sorry. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but Seshir, that's a good question. How do you decide when it's time to move on to the next part of your painting? Well, it's okay if you move on and then come back, because I think that's the most efficient efficient way to work. Always keeping things open until you finalize the piece, which I believe once you know a piece is kind of like solidified, you'll know it. I don't know how to explain it, but I guess you could call it artistic instinct. At least that's how I work on it. I think other artists have other ways of determining it, but like I said, I'm quite an indecisive person. Yeah, that's one of my faults in a way, because I sometimes, you know, I overwork and it becomes like, oh, it was better before. You know what I mean? But at least, okay, positive way of thinking about it is, you know, I putting a bit more practice into this because I fussed over it a lot more than usual. At least you can clock that in as your practice time. But usually an artist would know by instinct. At least I think so. But yeah. Yes, Billy says if you step away from it for a couple of days and come back not wanting to change anything, probably done. That's a good idea. I think so too. It's a good idea to take a break sometimes as well. I definitely agree with that, and also recommend working on multiple pieces at once, maybe 3 pieces at once. That way you can have a fresh eye and come back to different pieces. Like for one day you can work on like 1 hour on one piece and 1 hour each on the other 2 pieces, and do that for maybe like a week or something. I think it's good to refresh. Yes, definitely. It's a good idea. Yep. Yeah, sometimes you just, I guess sometimes I can't hit the nail on the board. You know that saying? Yeah, just sometimes you just don't get it in one try. You have to come back to it multiple times. But that's okay too, because it does help with practice time and, in a way, making yourself faster at painting. Yep. Let me see if I can do a quick render of the hand. See if this will add to the composition or take away from it, or if it's, you know, not as good. Let me have a look at her hand real quick. Alright, her hand is simple, just hand and nothing else on it. So let's go ahead and do like a neutral pose. Neutral pose, put it on top of the necklace. For hands, so I usually do a basic shape for the hand, and then I go in and use a dark color and sketch out the basic outline for the fingers. Like this somewhat. And then start cleaning it up. Let me go ahead and remove this part. Oh, whoops. Another thing I can do is just put the arm that's not overlapping her on a separate layer. Of course, let's go ahead and name it arm. Keep it the cleanest that we can keep it, or keeping it as clean as we can. That's a better way of saying it. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and red interior for the sleeve. Oh, thank you for the super chat. As unit as in AZN United 2032. Thank you. Tim Hortons or Starbucks? I don't know. I live in Canada, so we're mostly about Timmy's. We call it Timmy's. It's kind of cute. But yeah, Tim Hortons. But Starbucks is also quite popular. It's popular everywhere. But I guess I prefer Timmy's. I guess are you from United States? I think the Niagara Falls, United States, the part that connects Canada and United States, that part they have Timmy's. I think I've seen it in the malls. It's kind of cool to have a bit of Canada in the US. Alrighty, let's see here. AZ and United said, was wondering if you were a true Horton fan. You mean if I call it by Timmy's? Yes, Timmy's coffee. Timmy's coffee is like Canada's favorite coffee. Well, I feel like Starbucks pretty much became everybody's favorite coffee because it's so big now, and it's, you know, I went to Japan this one time. It was a few years ago before, you know, and they had a Starbucks brewery, and it was so exclusive that just to line up, you had to pay like $40. 40, like 4,000 yen, which is $40, around $40. It's a big deal in Japan. It's a big deal. Pretty interesting though. Very interesting. Alrighty, so the base for this hand is done. The rest of her sleeve is actually a white color. Let's go ahead add the basic white color, add some shading. You take a bit of the rim light, which is the warm tone. We still gonna try to stick to our cool tone, warm tone theme, which is warm tone on the bottom, cool tone on the top. Sometimes you can reverse that as well, depending on like the color scheme you're going for. So the arm, oh hold on, so there's highlight around this area, which means that this part of the arm will most likely being highlight, or around this area in general. So let's go ahead, create the light source real quick. After that, I'm gonna take a bit of yellowish, put it as the rim light to the arm. Like that. Let's try to work in a bit of the cool tone in as well. Let's do a little contrast, brightness and contrast. So this is the arm, and let's go ahead. Ooh, I should probably name this. I always name like head decor, like headgear. Alright, onto the hand. Let me like move it a little bit. Oh, hold on, I need to actually move this over a bit. Like that. So I got the base for the fingers. Now it's just time to refine it. Lock it in. So lasso tool will be used quite a bit on the hand. So we're gonna take the lasso and apply shadow to the side of the finger. That's gonna have most of the shadow. Now sometimes this can change as you work on it, but this, you can consider this like the first layer of painting finger, painting hand, yes. Or this is basically the steps that I go through. So first, get some shadow in. Let's go ahead and highlight some of the knuckles and stuff. Oh, especially this finger. See how bent it is? Oh my gosh, that's gonna be a lot of shadow. Alright, so after adding in some shadow, this is first layer of shadow. Let's go ahead and, let's go ahead and count the fingers, because oh my gosh, it's quite easy for me to paint like an extra finger. I remember like I'd done that 2 times and everybody was like, you paint the character with 6 fingers, oh my god. It was such a big deal, but to be honest, I don't think it's that big a deal. Artists mess up all the time. But yes, now I count the fingers. Make sure it's 5 fingers. So now that it's fairly clean, the hand is quite dark compared to the rest of her. So now we're going to start matching the highlight. Since her hand is kind of at an angle, what's it called? Her fingers will most likely be shadow because they're bent that way. So this part of the hand will most likely be the one that's catching most of the lighting. These are the things that we have to think about when you're trying to render a piece with a lot of like shadow and lighting, or complex shadow and lighting. And after that, maybe this finger is a little bent, so we add a tiny bit of highlight there. Same with this. Maybe just a tiny bit. After we add the highlight, me take some of this color, like the gray color, add it on the finger too to kind of balance out the warm tone. Sometimes we need well, at least I like to have a nice balance of warm and cool tones. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah, 6 fingers says Tiki. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. Oh yes, Hyun says her anatomy exaggerated, but nothing bad with it if she wants it like that. It just looks painful with the huge chest. Oh no, Hyun, this is considered okay. You haven't seen some of my other pieces. But yeah, I'm with Ari type characters, you know, the vixen look. I tend to make them pretty busty. So yeah. It does look painful, but it looks, for me, I like to exaggerate because, you know, it's kind of interesting. It's more fun sometimes. But if the character, uh, I do listen to feedback though. I mean, if the character is known to be small chested, I'll try my best to keep it that way. But yeah, I am pretty guilty of, you know, making the character more busty than they are. I admit that. It's okay though. Okay, so the hand is kinda done-ish. We can clean some of these areas up. Oh, hold on. Probably could add some cute little nails. Ooh. Who else doesn't like painting nails on characters? I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of painting feet. You don't see me draw a lot of feet or fingernails. Even, I mean, I draw a lot of hands, so I have to. But not a fan. But you gotta do what you gotta do. So yeah, it's not looking too great, but once you start putting in like a little bit of shine, it starts looking a little bit better. Like if you zoom out, it's acceptable, passable. Just don't zoom in and you won't see the roughness. The roughness. Alrighty, so once we have the hand. Oh, I have to add a little bit of a negative spacing there. And also add a bit of drop down shadow from the finger onto the character. Even can add a bit of indentation from the finger onto how she's pressing onto the fabric. And kind of erase a bit of it if it's too dark, like the shadow's too dark. Let's go ahead onto the finger, darken it a bit more. Oh yeah, I also have the problem of painting the hand too small too. That's also one of my issues. Yep. So I have to like, if I don't proactively think about it and make sure that I always like look at the hand as if, ooh, is it too small? Yeah, sometimes I'll miss it and I'll have really tiny hands for the characters. Yeah, those are the stuff that I don't really see until someone points it out to me. So yeah, after people point it out to me, I'm like, okay, I gotta keep an eye on that. Dio Daidran Vidwa. I'm sorry about your name, but you asked, it's the shadow in new layers or same layers? It is in different layers, since it's more convenient to edit that way. It's always, a little more convenient this way. The downside is just you have a lot of layers and you have to like keep it organized. See all this? I usually have like triple of this for a full illustration. It can get tedious, but in the long run, it's easier to edit. At the same time, that's also like a downfall because you gotta edit all these layers. But yeah. Hey, it's Sunshine. Nice name. It's very happy. Will you be adding this to your print store? Yes. Yes, I will. And I think the full piece will probably be better, but if you like this as well, I'll most likely have this on the print store as well once the term is finished, which is next month. But yeah, next month is Christmas or the holidays. Christmas or whatever holidays you guys celebrate. Ooh, it's gonna be interesting. I'm trying to think of creative ideas. Probably do a real spicy animation too. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Okay, so in general, this is pretty much done. I'll probably spend usually at this stage, I would say like 85% done. I'll spend probably like a few hours refining it, adding more details and stuff. Also, the background needs work, but it's just like a product placement, like a stock photo or something. You could call it like that. But yeah, it's still needs work. But in general, I am satisfied with this level at this stage. Let's copy, paste. Alrighty, so we started off like this. That is part of the first live stream, which is available. You guys can go check it out. Ended up with this in this time frame, which is 45 minutes. We got to this. Spend a bit of time to get to this level. You know what? I kind of like this a little better than what we have here, because you know there's more room for interpretation. But yes, and then we started from this. Oh wait, did we? No. Oh no, this okay. I spent maybe another 1 hour after this to get to where we first started. And where we first started to this process. And this process maybe another 2-3 hours and I will have a more rendered final piece. Yeah. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for coming and watching and supporting me. I will probably do another live stream, hopefully, but gotta keep it family friendly, like nothing too revealing and stuff. So yeah, thank you again, guys. Oh, someone asked a question. Oh God, it's a fox. I'm sorry, I missed the answer about canvas size. The canvas size, at least 3,000 pixels, or to make it simpler, maybe like 8 by 10 inches and at 300 dpi's. So yeah. Alright guys, I will see you guys next time. Oh, and also if you're interested in the final piece, HD final piece, and the full video process voiceover, check out my Patreon, it will be on there. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Take care, have a great day. We're back. So, oh man, this piece is a little bit frustrating because I just wasn't happy with what I had until now. I looked at it again. So I end up, you know, testing a bunch of stuff out, including trying to start a new face, but then I went back to the original face angle. I cut the arm into a separate layer, and the bust is one layer, and the rest of the body is one layer. And I also extended this, made it a little bit more revealing. But yeah, it's a lot of changes. So yeah, let's try to work on this a bit. Fingers crossed that you know, I'm gonna be finally happy with this. Please let me be happy with this. I really, really want to be okay with this. Oh my gosh. So this is before, after. Oh, good thing I saved this step. So there's this is before, this is after. You can see that I did end up, you know, moving around the body, making, twisting her body a little bit, um, making her face a bit more on the side. Because, you know, originally, I don't know, I still had issues with this, so I was trying a bunch of stuff out. I need to refine this. But yeah, it went from like, this is the original concept, just a basic portrait, you know? And then bam! Spend a couple hours kinda, trying to think what can I do to improve the composition. But anyhow, I'm gonna start by editing the chest part. And where is the clothing? Where's the garment? Close up of the garment. I just wanna make sure I get the accurate design. Uh, this is before. Oh, that's a step before. Let me just do another window for this. Move it on the side. And oh man, this is the version I had before. After. Alright, so this is a earlier version that I had saved, and this is what we have now. Ooh, okay. Honestly, I don't even know, guys. Alright, let's just try to make this version better than the previous version, because I'm not sure. So let's go ahead and work on the bust. It's a little bit big, so I'm gonna try to make it a little smaller. Yeah, I do draw busty characters, and you know, every now and then I get a comment saying, are you, commenting something like, are you going to draw normal anatomy this time? Like, implying how, they're not wrong. It just, you know, comments like that really sticks with you. Basically, yeah, so that's why now when I draw busty characters, I'm like, should I make them not as busty? So you end up questioning yourself. Anyways, let's go with... Okay, let's make it like that. And what I'll do is just bring this in a bit. We'll just make her slightly not as busty as I had originally. I guess it wouldn't hurt. And after I do that, I have to go on the bottom and fill in this layer. So with this layer, what I'm gonna do is try to contour Let's remove the hair. I'm just gonna contour the character, highlight that nice rib, and basically, okay, basically, uh, kind of just more or less think of it as painting the anatomy underneath. Just kind of thinking about, okay, where's the rib cage? Gotta highlight that. Where's the stomach area? Gotta highlight that. And later on I can add some fabric texture to it. I don't know. It might not always work out, but sometimes it does look better. So I got the rib cage. I'll just stick real close to the anatomy. As for this part, I'm gonna go for a cooler tone, cooler red tone, and use a warmer red tone as the, what's it called? Rim light. Yes, the rim light. And I highlight the belly button, but I'm gonna slowly paint it away. And the sleeve, I'm gonna remove that for now. Red cover. Alrighty, so this is what we have. I'm gonna go ahead and play around with it a bit more. I think I can just make her look busty just by making her waist so a bit thinner. But then if I do that, yeah, if I do that, then, oh man. If I do that, it's gonna make the rest of her look a bit too big. Ooh. I guess I'll have to upsize both the torso and the waist. Just going to clean that area up. Let's add a bit of highlight here. I'm going to erase that area a bit. We'll just have it blurred in. Go back down to the bottom layer. And blend this part in. Okay, that looks proper. Alrighty, so now let's focus on layering of the drape. There's quite a bit of layering around this area. So first, this fabric is tucked into the OB. And I'm just gonna, while I'm working on the OB, I'm going to render it out, especially the red portion of the OB. Basically, cool tone on top, warm tone on the bottom. Warm tone is the highlight. Let's take a bit of yellow even and kind of pre-render out the flat surface, and then we're gonna do the details. this part. This part is the thick wrapping around the OB, and there is pattern on this part, the black portion. So we are going to add a simple pattern, or even just find a photo stock for it. But first, I'm going to darken this area, then contour the outer edge of the OB, add environmental color first, then under each of the red seam, I'll be adding the orange tone. Alright, and for this part, I'll also be adding a warmer tone. Copy, warp, bring it up. Alright, merge down. Maybe it needs to be just a little thicker. Let me rotate and see what is up. Let me toggle it lower and basically kind of experiment. Ooh, if this position look better or not. Okay, let's go with this. I'm going to go ahead and work on the white stitching. Let's go ahead and paint back the white fabric. And of course there's red fabric here. But I'm gonna go ahead and paint back the shadow for this portion. I kind of want to paint in a bit of the hip area. And I also felt like if I did this, maybe I'll make the composition look a little more dynamic. Let me put back the hair. Well, it's gonna be hard to see what's going on. Let's go to the hand, the arm. Just kind of experimenting to see, you know, maybe if I move the arm around a bit, will that make the composition look better? going to extend the armpit a bit. Let's go to the bottom layer. Uh, maybe another hand here, overlapping hand might work, cause you know, just having the empty sleeve here, I'm not sure if this alone will be able to cover that area. It's kind of empty, you know? So I just roughly sketched out maybe a bit of hand there and see if this could work for this composition. Next up is the ears. The ears side by side. I'm just gonna fill the ears in. Oh, this might be a bit too wide. So I will just bring this a little bit flatter, and I'm gonna put this behind the hair layer, the back hair layer. And I'm going to also work on the hair layer. Just keeping it simple. The hair is pretty much swinging in one direction. Keep the swing fairly tight. Well, hopefully it ends up working the way I want it to. And I also have another layer for the hair coming back in this way. Maybe I can have some of the hair on this side too. I think this composition wise is a little more interesting. I'm going to merge both of this onto one single layer, and I'm gonna take this and gonna add some shadow in certain areas just to experiment first. Let's see how this looks. And then experiment. What if I highlighted, oh, hold on. Highlighted this area, like the rib cage area. I just wanna try to highlight the rib cage here a bit. If I can. Sometimes it might look a little too much, but I just want to see how it would look if I did that. Let's rotate this back. Actually, it's not too bad. I'm still not sure what to do with this hand, to be honest. But I mean, if the hair is gonna cover this area, I think it should be okay. I want to see how it would look if I blurred it. If I blur the hair, will it look, you know, like those camera effects? Like, I guess you could call this focus. Blur it a bit more. I'll try it out after I'm done rendering everything. Let me try again here. Take this color, the gray tone. I'm going to go ahead, add some highlight. Darken that area. Gonna still try to see if I can strongly imply a bit of anatomy here, and maybe oh no, I thought this would look a little better, but I'm not sure. I am not feeling it, but I will still, you know, try it out a bit more. Continue on. Continue to see if this will work. So rib cage here, or imply rib cage. Let me basically just sketch out the anatomy in this area. Roughly imply the anatomy, I mean. Darken. Add a bit of highlight around here. Maybe we'll just keep it like this. We'll keep it like this. I'm going to go ahead and bring back or continue the seam around this area. Before, after. Let me refine this area. Take this color and highlight or not highlight, but yes, actually, you know what? Yes, highlight the side. Clean up the silhouette. Highlight or contour the outside with shadow now. Now onto this side, select a shadow, add a bit more shade. Let me take this. I just made the torso just a little thicker. Clean that up. Probably need to, yeah, remove the bulging rib cage. Ooh, I'm just like looking back and forth and I'm lost, guys. I'm honestly lost. You see it here first. The struggle is real. I've been at this for a few hours and like I just can't get over it. I'm not really sure about where to go. With great struggle comes great results. Most of the time. That's usually how I improve, actually. The more I struggle, the more I'm like basically desperately trying to find ways to make make myself happy with the piece, basically. So I'm always kind of like, ooh, testing stuff out, flipping things around, moving parts. So yeah, you guys are seeing it here first. The struggle is real. I'm gonna create another bit of negative spacing here. Bring down the face and let's move the hair and ears. What's this? That's hair layer and the headgear too. One hand here and another here. For this arm, I'm thinking I can have it bend like this. And then fingers like bend like this. I'm just going to fill it in with basic color, but now that I filled it in, I'm not terribly happy with how it looks. I just need the silhouette to be able to kind of tell, okay, is it going the right direction? Does it work? And so far, it's not looking too great, but let me render out the arm a bit more. The hand looks a bit too short now. Yeah, probably not. Let's just have it. Maybe I should have just gone with the sleeve just tucked behind the hip area. And we'll go with the hair. Oh, where's the hair? Hair overlap. I'll just have a simple hair overlap. Maybe I can have a hand. We'll have a hand where it's doing this. She's like she's like framing her bosom. I don't know, I'm just testing out. Testing out. Testing out how it would look. Maybe she could be holding on to something. I don't know. Maybe like a cute little butterfly. Let's do this real quick. Cute little butterfly on her. Well, she's like holding onto the cute little butterfly or something. And that could be a reason why she's looking down, you know? Oh, 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 oh. Where is the arm? Here it is. Keep it a little closer. Man, this, every time I flip it, I'm like, is it me or is the head too big? That's also one of my problems sometimes. When I work on something a bit too long, I just really can't tell whether or not the head is a good size or not. Mm, maybe it's a bit, might be a bit too small. I mean, too long. In the end, I'm really lost. Hold on. Before, yes. This one looks better. Oh my goodness. I spent like a few hours on this. Now I think the previous version looks better. Hmm. Alright, I'll be working on it for a bit longer, guys, and I'll bring you guys back once I decide. Oh my goodness. Maybe I don't even need the hand. Oh, what if I made the hand do this? You never know. I mean, if I make the hand do this, and have this tightly against the character. Let's go ahead and add the highlight. Okay, that's not too bad. That might work. Hopefully, I mean. And just a basically I'm just testing it out. Testing it out, maybe move this up a bit. Like around here. Move the head a little bit closer to the shoulder. And of course, after we do that, gotta do the same for the hair. Yeah, the earrings all need to be repositioned, mostly repositioned and edited a bit, because right now it's doesn't look like it's fitting the angle. So we gotta fix that. Rotate the crown a little. Oh, hold on. You know what? You know what? This is not too bad. Maybe I will do this composition instead. And, ooh, if I, like, rotated it, actually, it's not too bad. Oh my goodness, look at this. Or I can rotate it this way. Or move it up that way. Maybe make it a little bigger. Rotate it. Let's see how that looks. Actually I quite like it like this. Okay. I'll play around with it and bring you guys back. This time for real.